Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Am I the Bad Person? So, today we're going to be talking about what happens during your tough times. So, essentially, what do people do when you're having a tough time, or effectively how you view them during these tough times? Because during these times, these will be the people that you effectively will count on, or if you can count on them, then do you really want to help them when they have their tough times? So yeah, let's dive right into a few scenarios today. So the first one is, am I the bad person for having an attitude with my mother after she didn't help me when I fainted? BC, she thought I was faking it. Today, I, 15F, was helping my parents and holding up a very heavy object for them when all of a sudden my vision started going black and I thought I was going to throw up. I remember asking my mom, please, please, please take this from me. I have to let it go. I don't feel so good. I'm actually sick and I think I'm gonna faint or throw up. I can't see. She probably thinks I fake other illnesses, when in reality I just have a stupid weak immune system. So I proceeded to black out on the concrete and come to my senses after some time. This is outside in front of our house where they were working with my mom. Could clearly see me, not sure how long I was out, probably a few minutes. With my ear and body hurting like hell, I am completely out of it and stumbled to a piece of grass 20 or so feet away and conk out again. And at this point, I thought I was going to throw up, wake up again to some people walking by, and I try to rush inside and lo and behold, meet my mother. I say I think I fainted and she just tells me to go outside and cool down. Like go lay in the grass. So I just left and I took a while before I felt okay. I also realized a few minutes later I had gotten a pretty significant scrape on my back too. I later confronted her about it, asking why she didn't help me. She said she thought I was faking it because I didn't want to hold the object up any longer and my fall looked too gracefully/slow for it to be real. Plus, this is the first time that this happened. I got mad and started crying because I felt like she didn't care. Now I don't want to talk to her. Am I the bad person? So, I would say you're not the bad person in the situation because, you actually had an event where you were not feeling well. And instead of kind of like empathizing with your situation, she actually just took it as a joke. So your mom, effectively kind of just said, hey, she's probably just faking it, whatever, I'll ignore her. So that's actually the worst thing you can do in these kinds of situations. So I would say most people would probably overreact in the situation. I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, is everything okay? Like, how are you feeling? And then maybe even carry the person inside and, actually like think about, the person versus the situation. There's gonna be times where really need to think about, do you care more about the task being done or do you care about the person? And this includes like situations where like you're at work, for example, like let's say someone's gonna be out for 2 weeks. Sometimes the first thing you might ask the person is like, hey, is everything okay, like in your work and stuff, instead of asking like, hey, like, are you okay, is everything okay, like how are you feeling? And I think it usually should be people first, task second. That's my opinion. And I think in this case, like the mom took the task more as being more important than the actual person. So I would say that I don't agree with that, and it's definitely not a good thing overall. Alrighty, so let's move on to the next one. Am I the bad person for not traveling home for the holidays while broke? Not employed at present. Partner wants to fly home and see her family and friends for the holidays. She's been working and can afford the trip. I cannot. I've encouraged her to go on her own as I know how important these people are in her life. At present, it would be extremely fiscally irresponsible for me to take a week plus long trip, sorry about that, cross country. She's completely opposed to going back without me, offering to pay for my flight despite not making much chatter herself. I know the fans say this would cause on an individual level, and also feel opposed to the idea of her family covering the added expense on my behalf. They did a lot to support us in some turbulent times, and this is a time where I should be more capable of supporting our own chosen lifestyles, whatever they may be. Partner wanted to add this. Life is short. Time spent with those you love is more important. We are healthy and can work and can save. We have the ability. I want to spend time with the ones I love, with the one I love the most. So I would say in this situation, you are the bad person, and I'll tell you why. It's because you don't want to. I know that financially, maybe sometimes life hits you like a rock, and you lose your job, you become financially unstable. But think about it this way: there's people out there who probably have lost their jobs, similar situation, and they don't have anyone to support them or anyone that like truly wants to be with them and love them. So I would say it's important to cherish these feelings, cherish the people that actually want to help you during these tough times, because there's going to be times where like maybe you're not the one going through a tough time, but maybe they're going through a tough time. So sometimes it's important to understand that like everyone goes through tough times, and you need to really just like you know make the best of it, even not just for like your family and the loved ones, but also for your own mental health. Sometimes spending the holidays alone is not the best course of action. It really puts a number on your mental health, knowing that there's your family's having a great time while you yourself are stuck at home and not able to enjoy life, as they say. There's gonna be a time where you can repay these people. There's plenty of time. Luckily, if you're young, you can continue to like pay off, like at least treat them to something or do something nice for them. So it's all like a give and take kind of thing. So it's important to understand like just go ahead and just live life. It's important to not just like think about the money, but think about the loved ones more than anything else.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anthony, and I'm the host of TheLostSanctuary. I hope you've been enjoying our content so far, and if you have, please feel free to like and subscribe. Also, we have our website up here, and we also have some socials down here. And as always, leave your comments down below.
So, am I the bad person for dumping my best friend of 32 years? Backstory: I dumped my best friend in 2018 because I felt so betrayed by her. That summer, she listened to me ugly cry about how badly I needed a job. I couldn't get a call back to save my life. I was trying to get into drop shipping and do so do an Amazon store. But I just kept hitting roadblock and roadblock. After months of some her, she tells me that she hired a company to start a store for her. I was so upset. I felt like a fool. Like I had shared an intimate part of my struggles, and she took my idea and struggles and decided that she would do it better. I dumped her. Fast forward to 2022, she calls me out of the blue and tells me she had brain surgery. They had found a tumor and removed it. We reunited, but a part of me was very hesitant to let her back in. By this time, I had started my own business and was doing okay. I work long hours and have really put in the blood, sweat, and tears that business owners have to invest. She obviously sees that and asks if I could teach her to do what I do. I shut it down fast and told her no because she's asking me to train her to be my competitor. She agreed and it was dropped. The rent house they were living in was being sold. They had 13 cats and 2 dogs and were scared to find somewhere to live. I offered to let them live in my rent house for only the cost of the mortgage, $0 deposit. They paid $1,600 per month for a 3,000 for a square home. That included rent, electric, and water. I grossed out the rest of the bills with them moving in, and most months I paid at least $200 towards their bills for 2 months. Almost immediately after moving in, she didn't pay rent. She asked me if she could work for me to help pay the rent. My my back was against the wall because I needed it to get paid. I went ahead and agreed. In the meantime, they accumulated more animals, broke a fan, and started breeding cockroaches. Literally breeding them for the reptiles they had now acquired. This is where I dumped my best friend again, and they are now moved out. It was a good thing. We buy a house, and I helped them achieve that. That's a good friend, right? She told me 2 days ago that she has now started her own business doing what I do. She started a month ago. I started having flashbacks of 2020, except this time, she had me train her. She did this even though I expressed that I did not want to teach her. To pour salt to the wound, she has taken pictures of my work and added her logo to it, acting like it's her work. She says I'm the asshole here because I should be happy that she started a business and can help her family. Mind you, I'm the primary breadwinner. That they live off VA money and her husband works full time and makes good money. She's named this company after a Bible verse and all, and I think of is the hypocrisy. All I think of is the hypocrisy behind it. I said a lot of terrible things to her. I wrote comments under the stolen content, but she blocked me now. Am I the bad person? So I would say you're not the bad person, and in this regard, because you effectively were betrayed by your best friend. You essentially were venting to her about like not being able to, like effectively find a job, and then when you were trying to like make it work by starting your own business, she actually stole your idea. So instead of like supporting you, she just stole your idea and started her own business and started to do things better. And then during her worst time, which is when she had the brain surgery, you helped her rent a house to her at probably below market. And yeah, you constantly were helping your friend, and then she stole your idea again. So I think I think overall you're not the bad person for dumping your friend, because I would say she's pretty toxic. Someone who effectively wants to basically steal other people's ideas, steal other people's ambitions for her own. So I think overall, it's bad to do that, especially for someone who, effectively this is like your only source of income, and essentially she was just wanting to like just take it all from you and just see you probably in a worse position than you are right now. So overall, I would say, you know, just find someone who actually values you and someone who actually appreciates everything that you do for them. Alrighty, let's move on to the next one. So, am I the bad person for wanting my best friend to be more supportive and understanding during my health crisis? I'm sorry for my formatting. I'm on a mobile. I also apologize for any spelling or grammatical errors. Or if this turns out into one long run on post, as my head is a bit of a mess. I appreciate anyone who takes the time to read this post and give me feedback. So, on to my concern. My friend and I, both 30F, have been dealing with serious health issues for the past 4 to 6 weeks recently. In the last 10 days, my condition has worsened to the point where I've been to the emergency department 3 times. One visit was just 8 days after a previous one, and the other one was only 40 hours after that. I've undergone countless blood tests and multiple CT scans, but I still don't have a definite diagnosis. That doctors haven't provided me with any concrete answers about the cause of my ailments and pain. I'm experiencing excruciating pain that often leaves me doubled over, along with vomiting that sometimes contains blood and various other stomach and intestinal issues. One of the doctors mentioned concern about an inflamed appendix, but after a consultation with a general surgeon, they determined that it didn't appear to be unduly inflamed, so they ruled out appendicitis. Despite this, I have been suffering tremendously for at least a month. I have severe stomach ulcer that I'm working on addressing with one of my specialists. Now here's where I felt I might be in the wrong. My best friend, who I've known for over 20 years, playing devil's advocate during our conversation about my health. When I mention my follow-up appointments and describe my 10 out of 10 pain level, she launches into a rant about the opioid epidemic. If she's not discussing that, she brings up how much work I've had to take off and questions whether I have enough time to stay away from my job, worried that I might lose it. I keep trying to explain to her that I understand her concern, especially considering her own family struggles, but I feel like she doesn't recognize that the situation is different. Just because there isn't a definite diagnosis doesn't mean I'm not experiencing real suffering. So tell me that without a diagnosis, I can't receive medication, despite my understanding of medical protocols. All I'm asking from her is support and understanding, a virtual hug or hand to hold, especially during this incredibly difficult time in my life. I snapped at her multiple times and even suggested that she might not know how to be supported because of her own upbringing. So am I the bad person for asking for support and understanding, or should I just accept her way of handling things, even though I've clearly expressed that I don't appreciate the way she communicates with me? Should I just move on with my life? So, I would say this is a difficult situation, and I would say you're not the bad person in this case, because you're going through something, like you're going through a pretty bad health crisis, and sometimes you just need support from those that are around you, your friends, your loved ones, and sometimes especially your friends of so many years. Like, I would say at that point, like, they should be in tune with your feelings and be a little bit more empathetic towards your situation. But sometimes people tend to put their needs first over yours. And sometimes, as you mentioned, like, talking about things that can happen or could happen just makes the situation even worse. Like, losing your job, or like making things worse on yourself. Like, I feel like that just adds more pain to your current suffering. So instead of doing that, it's important to, as a friend, to really like listen to the person, really like talk through the issues they're having, And really respect that, it's your friend that's going through such tough times. So it's important to be there for them and really be supportive, because you never know when the reverse situation will happen, and you're going to need their support as well. Alrighty, so that is going to conclude episode 16 of Am I the Bad Person? I hope everyone out there has a blessed day, and adios. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing an amazing job, and I'm wishing everyone out there all the best. Alright, until next time, adios.